Welcome. In this video, we are looking at the file signatures in a hex editor. Here we're looking at our 010 editor. And again, we're looking at different types of tools. So as you open it, it may start downloading. This will just show you a history because I have the show dialog when updates are downloaded. That's fine. You can force an update. The important part is, as we open different test files, we will actually start seeing the editor download the appropriate tools that it needs. I'm going to open up my test files. And here we can see the types. I actually want to see the extension. Make it a little bit easier. So here I want to look at a bitmap file. I'm just going to close all the ones that are open, and I'm just going to drag it back in. So we're most interested in these first 4 bytes. These are known as the magic number or the magic bytes. These actually allow for the distinguish of what type of file it is. So here I'm going to open up a document, a DOC. We're going to notice the bytes are different than a bitmap file. Well, I happen to have a second bitmap file, and I want to compare the two. So here we have our test 1 bitmap and our test 2 bitmap. If we go back and forth, we can see that a lot of them are going to be the same. We want to focus on the first 4 groups, not all of it, because as we start getting into other extensions, they may not always be the same. Bitmap actually has several of the first groups identical. So let's go ahead and open up a doc. So here we see that our doc is D0 CF11E0. That lets us know what type of file it is. So if we compare it to our test 2 doc, they should be dang near identical. And they are. If we look at a .docx, you'll notice that a doc and .docx are slightly different. So why is this important? So I have some test files down here. I have one test file, test3, without an extension. I have a test3.pdf and a test3.txt. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my test3. And I don't know what type of extension it has, but I know it starts with 54B0304. Well, I can take those magic bytes and I can see what they're equivalent to. So it's not a DOC, not the same 4 bytes. I can open up a docx and compare the two. And it turns out my test3 without an extension is a .docx file. It is a Word document file. Even though the extension is missing, the file type is actually a docx file type. This becomes overly important because when we go to hide data, when we want to obfuscate data, what we can do is we can remove extensions. Well, the extensions make the operating system be able to view it a little easier, but we can always view the hex and figure out the file type that way. So I have a test3.pdf. So let's go ahead and open up a test1 PDF just to see. Oh, see, this is what I wanted to point out. different file extensions require 010 editor to actually install plugins. So make sure to install the plugins as appropriate, because each new file type or each new file extension may have additional properties that isn't in the base program. So I'm actually just going to go ahead and drag it to my right side. So here we know a PDF starts with 25, 50, 44, 46. So I'm going to open up my test3.pdf. And again, we'll notice they are not the same. I know a PDF starts with 25, 50, 44, 46. Just to make sure, I'm going to open up my test2 PDF. So my two test PDFs all start with 25, 50, 44, 46. That is the magic bytes for PDF. So that means my test3 document.pdf is not a PDF. It starts with 54B0304, which we've already concluded was a .docx file. So if we go to open it, it ain't going to work, because it really is not a PDF. It really is a Word document. So let's go ahead and get rid of these guys. The next file I want to look at is this .txt. So I'm going to open up my test1.txt. And it's in plain text, and text documents are pretty simple. So we don't actually get to see the hex for this guy, because it actually is going to do single character. And here, down here, you'll see the actual binaries for them, word for word. So let's go ahead and open up this test3.txt. Again, it is not a simple plain text file. It is showing hex information. Again, looking at that, we already know that's a .docx file. So it doesn't really matter what the extension is. Let's go and open it. Does not matter what the extension is, especially when we know the magic number or the magic bytes. The magic bytes is actually what lets the program open the different files. So if you ever lose the extension, we can look at normally the first 4 bytes and figure them out. The first 4 bytes are, again, the signatures or the hexadecimal signatures for certain files. Let's go ahead, let's open up one PCAP file. PCAPs will need a additional plugin. Let's go and get that installed. We'll load it. Get rid of it. So a PCAP is going to start with D4, C3, B2, A1. That's what it is. If you're unsure of the different types of signatures, because again, I mean, you're not going to know every single signature out there. That is okay. You can look up a list of file signatures. Wikipedia is really good for this. Here we have a PCAP or a libcap. You'll notice here we have D4, C3, B2, A1. The extension is a PCAP file. It is actually a libpcap file, and we get more details. If we are talking a if we figured out that first 4 bytes are 0A, 0D, 0D, 0A, it's going to be a PCAP NG. So again, we can figure out the extension or the file types based off just the hexadecimal numbers. Here, we have a little larger signature file if it's a database file, and so forth, which we're not going to go through all of these. I just wanted to point out where you could find the hex signatures. For simplicity's sake, I'm going to open up all of the different file types so that I can get all of the add-ons that I need installed. Because I need one for JPEGs, I needed one for PDF. XPS looked fine, XML. Again, most of these were Word documents or a variation. I made sure to throw in an Excel document. So notice this, 54B0304. This is an Excel document. Test1.xlsx. It actually is Excel. But if we open up Word, Word's coming up. XLSX. Here's our .docx. You'll notice that a lot of the bytes are the same. These bytes up to D are the same. Only after that, it gets the E, they are different. So again, a file signature doesn't necessarily have to be just the first 4 bytes. Office documents share the first 14 groups of bytes. The nice thing with this is when we're doing this professionally, you'd be probably doing the first 3 rows of the hex file and comparing the hexes to common signatures to verify the file type. But again, this is an introductory, so we're looking at more basics. But I wanted to point out that Office files are going to be pretty similar. We have an XML, or we already closed the XML. We have an HTML, we have a RTF. Even though RTF was similar to text, this is a rich text format. So we have all the formatting behind the scenes. We have our JPEG. We have an open office documents. We have a PDF. We have a PNG, and so forth. I wanted you guys to become familiar with the different types of file signatures. This is not all of them. We didn't do a PowerPoint. We didn't do any other types of video or audio files. This is just an entry level of what the file signatures are and kind of how they work. If you have any questions or concerns, let me know. And here's a perfect example of how to take different file types, even if they have missing extensions, and try to figure out what they are. If you have any questions or concerns, please reach out. Thank you.